colonialism came,
which
saved the life of men actually,
fought fiercely,
which was imprisoned here on that hill, Kololo.
which remain the greatest hero in Acholi.
Premiering in Gulu City at Boma Hotel on Sunday 8th December 2024. Gates open at 4:30 p.m. To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660. Tuko pamoja?
Juko.
Yo.
Wachiko. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Uganda, haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together.
Kasita Uganda Presidential CEO Forum, UMA and Ministry of Trade are organizing the annual Business Community Dinner 2024 under the theme Connecting Minds, Creating Opportunities. Happening on 4th December 2024 at UMA Showgrounds Multipurpose Hall. Come dine with industry leaders, innovators and game changers as you enjoy a sumptuous dinner, live music and thrilling performances. Be inspired by keynote speakers and award-winning entrepreneurs as you get a chance to network, build connections and take your business to the next level. Tickets available online and at the Kasita office, plot 16B, Market Street, Royal Complex Building, 3rd floor, Suite 1. For sponsorship, partnership and corporate tables, please call 0752 590 122 and 0773 153 898. Or you can go to UMA for more information. Let's enjoy end of the year business dinner as we connect our minds together while creating opportunities. Sponsored by URA, Bank of Uganda, United Bank of Africa, DTB, Roofing, Plascon, Tembo Steel, Bakaima, Electro Commission, and Grow Project.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Good morning and thank you so much for being with us on UBC TV. Welcome to Good Morning Uganda Extra. Robert Chirabo, Nyonyitono, that is in case you have just joined because we are always here from 6:30 to start your morning. Welcome to the Extra. And what we do best here is we look at issues of national concern and we usually have a guest or guests in studios with whom we deliberate more on these matters. Now today, farmers, you're very blessed because there is something that is going to be launched that is very vital for you as someone who is into agriculture. But even the rest of us, because we know we eat food that is grown on our soils. I don't know if we have enough technology that we are planting things in the sky. So far what we are doing is we depend on our soils for good gardening, and when the farmers have produce, then for you whose gardens are supermarkets and markets, you have food. So that's why today's discussion is very, very important as Uganda launches the Soil Institute. That is what we are going to be discussing. Remember, on the 5th of this very month, we'll be celebrating the World Soil Day. But Uganda, as a country, we are going to be launching the Soil Institute of Uganda. And joining me this morning to discuss this, I have Associate Professor James Peter Egunyu, who is the Dean Faculty of Agriculture and Animal Science, Bustema University, Arapai campus in Soroti City. You're most welcome, Prof.
Thank you very much.
And just next to me, I have Dr. Mary Raka Kikara Silver, who is a member of the Uganda Soil Institute Steering Committee. You're most welcome, Doctor.
Thank you, Robert, and good morning, our viewers and listeners.
Now, I want to begin with the lady, and of course, ladies first. Now, Doctor, first and foremost, when we talk about the Soil Institute of Uganda, where is the institute going to be launched? What is all this? Kindly give us the genesis to this.
Thank you, Robert, and listeners. Permit me to give a little background about the expected or the soon-to-be launched Uganda Soil Institute. Between year 2002 up to 2011, Uganda participated in a global project focusing on soil life, or what we called, or the project title being Conservation and Sustainable Management of Below Ground Biodiversity. Around that time, conserving biodiversity was a global topic, but it concentrated on life above the ground. Little attention was given to life below the ground. And indeed, that raised concern to many. So during that period, a project was funded by Global Environment Facility, which is a component of the UN bodies. And Uganda, Kenya, Mexico, Brazil, India, and Indonesia were participants. So that's why we refer to it as a global project. But nationally, the project was conducted and spearheaded by Makerere University, Department of Zoology, and the then Department of Soil Science. And each country had some of the priorities we focused on, and the project ran in Mabira, was our site, Mabira Forest. So we wanted to track the changes in below ground biodiversity from what we thought was virgin to what might have been tampered with. So the project ran up to 2011. I won't go into the details of how it ran and so on for the sake of time, but like any other project, there are things you want to continue with, the recommendations that come out of the project. And one of them important was the Uganda Soil Institute, having engaged a consultant, Professor Julius Zake, and came up with the recommendations that if we were to continue to manage our soils, and particularly below ground biodiversity and soil in general, and having realized the importance of soil, as you said, almost all the food comes from soil, and many others we shall discuss are important functions of soil. So was the recommendation of the Institute. And naturally, the people who were managing the project, I must say, agreed with the consultant, and we started consulting other stakeholders, mostly government ministries, agencies, which included mainly MAIF, which is the mother of food, and NEMA, Ministry of Environment, and farmers who participated. By then, I think it is still operating, the National Farmers Federation. We were with them, and local government in Mukono, where the Mabira Forest, by then, I think now they are subdivided. Mukono is no longer the large.
Yeah, the large Mukono.
Yeah. So we came up with the idea that we indeed, having noted the low priority soils have, not only among the farmers, which would really be absurd. Farmers would treasure soils, but apparently not as much. Neither the policymakers. So we said no. we must make sure that this recommendation goes through. So finally, we had to write to get all stakeholders in a workshop and came up with a steering committee which was tasked to write a proposal, and we found willing partners, and one of the willing partners was Bustema University. So we found ourselves collaborating with Bustema University, which was very welcoming, acceptable to the idea, and they set up a task force. And it has been a long, painstaking process to really build it up to the stage where it is. So, come 5th December 2024, from 2011, we shall launch the Uganda Soil Institute. That is the background.
Now, having given us the background, I'll now move to Professor. Yes, there was really indications that little had been given to biodiversity under the ground. And under the ground, we literally mean the soils. Now, it called for this institute. But what runs through my mind, what exactly is this institute going to be focusing on, or why, even if someone would ask that? Being at a university, of course, one would say it's all about learning, you know, maybe it's another approach. But let me get it from the horse's mouth more. You're from Busitema, and this is where this is going to be hosted.
Thank you very much, our dear listeners. Good morning. Yes, as mentioned, the Uganda Soil Institute will start live in Bustema University, Arapai campus in Soroti City, come December 5th, as we celebrate the World Soil Day. And to answer the question, why, how will this be of benefit to Ugandans? This institute, as you even hear from the name, Uganda Soil Institute, we are trying to be very careful that it's not science and all that. So it will be an institute where we shall offer training that really meets the needs of the challenges that the country's soil face. So there will be training at different levels, but also the institute will be tailored to meet the Sustainable Development Goal number 15, which partly aims for a land with no degradation of soil, free from degradation. Now, as we also look at the focus of this institute, we also look at our national priorities. What do we want to achieve as a country as far as sustaining soil health is concerned? So the institute will focus on interventions that reduce or reverse environmental degradation, improve natural resource utilization, and mitigate the effects of climate change. And lastly, just to mention some of the key benefits of this institute to the country, the institute will focus on generating information and innovations that really help to address the challenges the country's soils are facing.
Now, Prof, this also brings me to ask, for a viewer, someone who is watching us, I'm very passionate about agriculture. When we talk about soils, one would wonder why even have this institute. I mean, what is that we feel we should come up with a whole institute looking at soils? You know, these soils have been there, we've grown our food there. One time I was speaking to a farmer of planting in lines. Told me, you people of this generation, I mean, are crops going to cross each other? Why are you talking about planting in lines? So our farmers, there are certain things that really they need to understand better. Someone watching us questions, why soil? What's the importance of soil? Yes, it may be obvious, planting food and all that, but the soil has been doing this.
Yes, thank you very much again for that question. We will appreciate that we have a number of institutions, even universities, that are running agricultural programs. But the focus on soil has really been very minimal. So now, when we bring out a National Soil Institute, which we want to put at a level which is really a state-of-the-art institute, being able to test soils, being able to provide us the information that we need, and helping every person who wants to undertake specific training, specific skilling related to soil management. So the institute will be a one of a kind and focusing on matters of soil, and of course linking it up with other ongoing programs that address agriculture, like crop production and animal production. So when we do that, we expect that we are going to increase a base or a pool of well-knowledgeable experts in terms of managing issues on soil. We've had national catastrophes like landslides. We cannot forget the issues around the mountainous parts of the country. We cannot forget the issues of low productivity coming from arid areas. And then now we are even recently taken up by the issue of the Kitezi catastrophe. So we want to bring out an institute that will focus on raising experts to address these national challenges associated with soil degradation and sustainable soil health, for a sustainable productivity of our agricultural sector, and of course for sustainable development and food security.
Now still, before I come to Dr. Professor, we've had a number of scientific breakthroughs in the field of agriculture in this country. And most of the farmers, sometimes I feel for them when I go out in the field there, you find a farmer suffering with maybe a certain pest. Yet we have a professor in one of the institutions that discovered a pesticide that deals with that, and it's celebrated internationally. We have people who've studied soils. For example, when this institute is in place, look at the graduates that's going to bring out. But this science, this knowledge does not trickle down to the ordinary farmer, the ordinary person, whose research, whose formulation of such an institute was aimed to help. Now, sometimes these graduates, you graduate with a bachelor's in soil, whatever it's going to be called, you find someone working in something else. Or if they are working, that they're at a certain institution also, writing more papers, getting masters, PhDs, and you know scientists, you want to go and go and go and go to that level. But the ordinary person knows nothing. How do you bridge that gap with such a vital institute going to be launched?
Thank you very much. I concur with you that the finger on scientists, being scientists who generate knowledge that they themselves don't adopt or their communities don't adopt.
Even use it, maybe for their journals, breakthroughs. My mother here wanting to more accolades. They will tell you, Professor, you visit their home, they have this, but...
Yes, to an extent that's where we are coming from, but that's not where we want to stay. As a university, in Busitema University, we focus on 3 areas. We say we want to train, we want to generate knowledge, but we want to disseminate this knowledge to the people. Currently, we are into innovation. We've had a lot of interconnection with the Science, Technology and Innovation Secretariat of Office of the President, who is funding a number of our research activities. And of course, the focus of the STI, which is also embedded in the vision of Busitema University, to be a center of excellence, professional and academic excellence in science, technology and innovation for socioeconomic transformation. We no longer are settled into issues of getting this information and shelving it. the focus is to get this information and taking it to the people, and we are on track in developing innovations along that path, which are not ending in the university but are going out to the university, to the community.
Well, I hope that sees more light of day, and our farmers that struggle with challenges, yet we have the people that have learned, have discovered these challenges, solutions to their challenges can trickle down. How I'll be very grateful when I visit Busitema University, when I visit the various government institutions into agriculture, the science I discover there, when I move out, the farmers have benefited through these innovations, through these discoveries, and they are getting better yields, enjoying life. Farming is something very profitable, but there's a lot of ignorance amongst our farmers. Now, this takes me to Doctor. We're going to be celebrating World Soil Day on the 5th of December. What is this all about?
Thank you, Robert, once again. Yeah, you have asked me about World Soil Day, which is a global event celebrated every 5th of December each year. This came into existence or operation 2013. So that already gives a hitch. 2013, following advocacy and following advocacy by Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, and there is also an International Union of Soil Science, which begged, prayed for this day. Purpose mainly to advocate and create awareness among all concerned, from the farmer you have been advocating for, whom you think doesn't know much about soils, to leaders at all levels, to really get cautious that soil or soil resources were degrading very fast. And by that time, it was estimated that a third of these world soils had become seriously or moderately degraded. And what would that mean? It would mean that the food mainly, which comes from soil, would also reduce. And therefore, a number of people in millions would starve or be malnourished. And therefore, it became very, very apparent and urgent that the communities at all levels should remember, like we remember a day for Forest Day, World Environment Day, although soil could be part of the environment, should be given attention, find measures to retard or eliminate, as my professor here has said, that we must live expecting a land or soil which is not degrading. There are technologies, there are ways of doing things from time immemorial. Some are still viable, some may not be viable, so science comes in, although you are accusing scientists of not taking up the knowledge. But when people fall sick, no doctor goes to their homes. They come to where the doctor is. So I would advise that when our soils are sick, we look for the soil doctors and they treat
who are very few, very rare,
they are
and
not
if possible. For example, on average, if you wanted to carry out soil testing, because many farmers, I see investors when they come in this country, doctor, they are going to Rera, growing rice, you see them take a lot of time to understand what are the components of this soil. What is it that rice growing needs? What are the nutrients? If the particular soil we've selected doesn't have maybe half of these, we move to another location. Or can we find ways of fixing, putting, that is of course having organic manure, and they are the experts, they know more that they can repair your sick soil. But that may not be for my ordinary farmer. My ordinary farmer in Kasoga Kakuto may want you, the scientists, to go. I know you know that good old days where you will be at home and someone comes and says, in my language they would say, Omulimi saze. Goes to you and abeno, mother, father, go. Then he says, okay, we no longer plant matoke like this, we no longer cut like this, you mulch, put trenches, and Omulimisa would go away. You know, then as you're there, a veterinary doctor comes on a motorcycle. I've had a cow here, let me have a look at it. Okay, it needs this, right, then moves away. Or even sometimes injects it and goes away. Those are the days I'm talking about. That's, yes.
It is my sincere hope and belief indeed that what you are saying is true. But given the current system of administration, and if I can quickly also refer to the parish development model, I think there are extension workers at possibly parish level. If the problem is high or not manageable by the extension worker should be able to push it higher. It will become very difficult in the short run to have scientists or soil scientists in particular, since we are talking about
the institutes,
going to every village. But I think through the Ministry of Agriculture, Animals, Industry and Fisheries, MAIF, they have extension workers. And actually, through the decentralization arrangement of management in this country, the local governments should actually take it up. But as you are saying, it seems the system is not very perfect yet. We hope when the institute is in place, it will be, or it will facilitate to fill that gap. Because what seems to happen is that maybe even the extension worker is not very well facilitated. So we need to ensure that the knowledge from the institute will percolate to the end user. And this day, World Soil Day, is purposely meant to do that. That the whole world on 5th December takes a little break and says, wait, where do we get food? In fact, when I was coming, I was thinking, how come there is a World Food Day is recognized many, many years before World Soil Day? How could it have been more important than World Soil Day? So maybe we will do that. So the World Soil Day is about really cautiously raising the attention of the communities about the importance of soils. And each year we have a running theme. And this year the theme is about caring for soils, and which you have rightly been complaining about, that people have soil problems and they don't know how to do it. So we are even being advised, how do we care for the soils?
So basically, this day will focus more on that. Well, allow me go for a break, and I'll let my guest, that is Associate Professor James Peter Ngonyu, Dean Faculty of Agriculture and Animal Science, Prestema University, Arapai Campus, Soroti. Thank you so much, of course, for your submission, and also Dr. Mary Rakaikara, Slivio, who happens to be a member of the Uganda Soil Institute Steering Committee. Let me go for this break. Thank you so very much. I'll return with a few changes. Keep it with us.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Mascari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, every story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't go.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000, or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Uganda, are you ready to kick things up to the next level? The Uganda National Lottery brings you Sports Take 10. Predict the results of 10 football games and win big. With tickets at only 500 shillings, join the fun and make your predictions count with Sports Take 10. Sports Take 10, your ticket to football glory.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win.
Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you Tuko Pamoja Luo segment. Learn about the famous legend of Jipiri and Labongo and how the Alur, Acholi, Jonam and Japadola Jaluo emerged.
The Luo are basically Nilotic.
We are believed to have come from Baragazelle in the Sudan.
When this colonialism came,
Rorawit saved the life of men actually.
Fought fiercely.
Which was imprisoned here on that hill, Kololo.
Which remained the greatest hero in Acholi.
Premiering in Gulu City at Boma Hotel on Sunday 8th December 2024. Gets open at 4:30 p.m. To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660. Tuko pamoja?
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Welcome back from that break, and thank you so much for being with us on UBC TV. It is the Extra. Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono, and I've been joined by Professor Julius Zake, who is a member of the Uganda Soil Institute Steering Committee, who has just replaced, of course, Dr. Mary here, still to give us more regarding this institute and why we should treasure biodiversity under the ground, meaning our soils. Professor, you're most welcome.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure having you most on such a topic.
Thank you.
Now, I'll just begin by taking you on what are the challenges related to soil health and how best can we address these challenges?
Yeah, thank you very much. This is an important aspect because if the soil is not healthy, it can't be sustained. So, as a country here, we have embarked, our people are going to embark on commercial agriculture. And we want to keep the soil sustainably productive. If the soil is not productive, definitely our people will be in trouble because over 70% of our population is depending on agriculture. So it is vital that the soil should be healthy and continuously productive.
Now, talking about the soil being healthy and continuously productive, how do we address this? Because you grew up when your parents are feeding on soil and when planting whatever they were doing on soil. Today, you're doing the same and generations to come after you. So how do we maintain this?
Yeah, actually, this is a very interesting issue. When I was young, my father was a Saza chief. But even then, we used to get our food, that's matoke, from Bugerere. Presently, Bugerere is not producing anything as far as bananas are concerned. This means that if the soil is not sustained, it will stop being productive. Presently, we are getting most of our food from the West. And it is important that the West doesn't experience what Bugerere experienced. And this will only be done by keeping the soil healthy and productive. And I would say here that as we talk, the West has the highest or biggest negative balance. That means that the West loses more nutrients from the soil than any other part of the country.
Oh!
And this is alarming because what happened to Bugerere will happen to not only Bugerere but other parts as long as we don't keep the soil.
Now, good, I'm having a professor. When you say the West is losing more than any other part of this country, why? Because one would say they have the cows, so cow dung is everywhere, you know. They have all it takes in that area. So, and that is why they are now almost the food basket of Uganda. So that threat then also makes why they seem to have an upper hand and why are they losing?
Now, I think this is a very important issue and it's good you raise it because I don't know whether our people are aware that whenever you take anything from the soil, I mean any crop, you are actually removing nutrients. So, as we talk, the meat, the bananas, potatoes, all these are removing nutrients. That's why they are the biggest loser, because they are the ones that produce. So it is important. What we would really, and what we want to encourage in this aspect, that people should be aware that whenever they remove anything from the soil, they should be able to replace the nutrients lost. And we are, as we talk now, Uganda is the country using the least amount of nutrients in the world. Because we took for granted that the soils will keep producing continuously without doing something about it. So this is really, and I'm glad that we are initiating the Uganda Soil Institute, because we didn't have laws and ways to maintain, to keep the soil productive.
Very interesting. One thing that I've also learned is wherever you remove something from the ground, when you make that bumper harvest, like we say, you've removed nutrients. So what are your plans? How are you going to put back these nutrients so that we don't have what happened to once the food basket of Uganda and in some areas that was Bugerere, and now actually when you plant there, you may not have that fertile ground. Some of us then run the chemicals we are using, but I'll have Professor, I think, for another day to handle that topic. Today we are focusing more on the launch of the Uganda Soil Institute and also the World Soil Day that is going to happen on the 5th of this very month. And of course, that will come with a celebration of having this institute launched. Now I'll go back to Doctor. Doctor, more for my viewer, where this institute is going to be. More emphasis on that.
Thank you very much, Robert. Let me inform our fellow Ugandans that this institute, the Uganda Soil Institute, is going to be launched and is going to be hosted by Busitema University, Arapai campus, which is in Soroti City. I will maybe inform us also that this faculty, the Faculty of Agriculture and Animal Sciences, which will host the institute, is the former Arapai Agricultural College, then offering certificates and diplomas in agriculture, and many people across the country have benefited from that college. But in 2007, the Busitema University was established as a public university and unique in a sense that it is a multi-campus university. Currently, it has 6 faculties with 7 campuses in total. The headquarters of the university is housed in Busia, specifically in Busitema, where the name of the university comes from. And within that campus, we also have the Faculty of Engineering and Technology. Now, other campuses are spread across eastern Uganda. We have Namasagari campus, which hosts the Faculty of Environmental Sciences. And then you move again to Palisa, we have there a faculty for business studies. And then you move over to Mbale, we have the Faculty of Health Sciences, which also has a branch in Kabwangasi in Butebo, which is another campus. And then you come down, sorry, I will take you back to Tororo again, where we have the Nagongera campus, housing Faculty of Science and Education. And then you go to the Faculty of Agriculture and Animal Sciences in Soroti City. So it has moved on from offering only certificates and diplomas to now have bachelor's programs. We have Bachelor of Science in Agriculture, we have Bachelor of Science in Animal Production and Management, and Bachelor of Agribusiness. We also have master's programs. We have Master of Science in Plant Breeding, and then we have Master of Science in Global Change and Sustainable Agriculture. The good news also is that you will find Doctor of Philosophy program in the campus, Doctor of Philosophy in Global Change and Sustainable Agriculture, and this is replicated across the other campuses depending on the discipline. And now, in terms of the institute that we are launching, probably I would now say, how will you as a public take part in the launch processes? So one, we invite you to tune on to our public awareness campaigns like this one. I thank those who have tuned on. We shall have more on radios, on selected radios. But also note that on the 4th of this month, before the D-Day, the 5th of December, we shall have a ministerial statement at the Media Center about this day. And then on On the D-Day, which is the 5th of December, then we will have the physical celebrations at the faculty in Soroti, where the institute will be launched. And then lastly, to crown it all, we shall also have a virtual panel discussion on the 6th, where we'll discuss more with the experts from even across the borders and our own soil experts, discussing and giving information to the public on this matter of Wild Soil Day celebrations. Thank you.
Very interesting. So much activities are lined up for these celebrations, and of course ensure you don't miss any. Why? Because soils play a very big role. Professor has just been telling us here that when you mess with the soils, my dear, you may lose out so very much. And that is why we see that some areas that were once giving us food now no longer, because we do not repair the soils. We didn't give them time to heal. For us, when we were growing up, it was all about give soil time to heal. Now, Professor here is saying no, but put back what you've removed. Very interesting. Professor, in the interest of time, what are your parting shots? Your last remark to our viewer.
Well, first of all, I'm excited about this happening, because we've been working on it for several years. And we have been wondering why, among all the resources, soil has taken long to have this institute. The institute is going to be important in that we have to have some laws and policies governing the soil. And it will be the institute to be responsible for a number of these. Especially presently, there is the use of fertilizers. In fact, we referred to cow dung. Cow dung, okay, is an input, but the soil provides a number of things to the plant. Provides nutrients, it provides water, it provides air, and it has to provide the rooting aspect of the plant. So when we want to really to repair the soil, all these have to be considered. Presently, the consideration has been aimed at nutrients only. In fact, but a number of things have to take place. For instance, cow dung, its major impact is the physical characteristics of the soil. The cow dung has very little in the way of nutrients. Because the cow needs all the nutrients to milk and bones, so it can't allow most of this to go to pass
wasted,
to be wasted. So it is important that when you have this institute, we are going to advise people how to ameliorate the soil aspects for all these, how the soil should maintain water, maintain air, and this air has to be held in certain parts of the soil, and also water. All these are different parts, even in nutrients. So it is important and vital that we have an institute which should look at how the soil should be repaired, and even put certain laws of how the inputs should be done. So it is very vital that we have laws and even research. All these have to take place in the institute. Presently, it was haphazard that if there is a project, it may have aspect of the soil. But the institute is going to have permanent aspect of observing that the soil is not damaged.
Well, thank you so much, Professor. Now, Prof. James Peter, as we move out of the studios, let me just have your last word.
Thank you very much again, Robert. The institute is here, it's in our minds. It is going to be launched, and we rally everybody to support the institute. We have elaborated how beneficial it will be to our nation. We have talked about the challenges it comes to address. As we stand now, Dr. Silva previously discussed the support from the Global Environmental Facility and all the partners that were participating in that project, which birthed out a concept. And this concept has been nurtured by several entities. We have the Uganda Soil Institute Steering Committee that you've heard being talked about. It is chaired by the Vice Chancellor of Bustema University, Professor Paul Wako, and it has members from the university, from the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Industry and Fisheries, and it also has members from the NARO, National Agricultural Research Organization, and other independent enthusiasts on soil like Professor Zake and Dr. Silva. They are members of this steering committee. They've done a good job to bring the work to where it is, and it is work in progress. We've had a national task force for preparation for World Soil Day. They are also adding to the effort, rallying us all to join the fight, to bring to life the Uganda Soil Institute. And then we've also had the Office of the Prime Minister coming in. We have held meetings there, a meeting there to establish the Uganda Soil Forum, which should bring all of us together. If you really feel you have a stake, you can do something about soil. It brings us all together to deliberate on how to make this Uganda Soil Institute a reality, and how to deal with other issues like policy around soil management. Of course, the National Task Force currently preparing this is chaired by myself with members from different stakeholders. We thank them. And now we also even have the local organizing committee in trying to make sure that the institute is running, up and running. The university has put in a lot of effort. For example, there is an appointed steering committee, coordinator for the establishment of the institute, Dr. Peter Opio, now chairing the local organizing committee.
So all is
for
set.
That. All is set. Come 5th of this month, let's come together, but also let's recognize just one key partner here, SNV, who has supported us in terms of several things that we need for the day, among other partners. Thank
well,
you
I just want to thank you so much, Associate Professor James Peter Ngunyu, who is the Dean Faculty of Agriculture and Animal Science, Busitema University, Arapai, that is a campus in Soroti City, where this institute is going to be launched on the 5th. But also Dr. Mary Raka Kaira, who was with us earlier on, a member of the organizing committee. And not to forget Professor, last but not least, Professor Julius Zake, also a member of the Uganda Soil Institute Steering Committee. Thank you so much for your time. And of course, our viewer, thank you very much. Those that were with us from 6:30 till now, we don't take you for granted. We appreciate you so much. See you tomorrow, same time, the good Lord willing. For God and my country, blessed week.
Thank you.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27